Okay, stage 1, pancreatic cancer. Let's talk about it. Talk about my mom and her experience with pancreatic cancer. I'm not a medical professional. I'm only sharing my mom's personal experience with this disease. Like I said, I'm not a medical professional. I'm only going to share what she went through while she had cancer. So my mom, her name is Cassandra Ray. She's 55, 56 to be exact. Well, in heaven. And I will be talking about, from what I know, what she went through. So, initially we thought it was diabetes, type 2 diabetes, but it was actually cancer. And her symptoms led to early stage pancreatic cancer. So initially I thought it was the diabetes caused the cancer, but in reality the cancer caused the diabetes. At the time, my mom had stage 1 cancer, pancreatic cancer, and thankfully we caught it early. However, pancreatic cancer is a very deadly cancer with a very, very low survival rate, less than 5 years, if I'm correct. My mom was treated at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and her treatment regimen was supposed to last 6 to 8 months. So she had high-dose chemo every other week. After a few more rounds of chemo, my mom underwent a surgery called the Whipple procedure to remove the tumor, which was located on the head of the pancreas. So the Whipple procedure involves surgeons removing the gallbladder, the head of the pancreas, and part of the small intestine, as well as the bile duct. So it was successful. Thankfully, she didn't need to have a gallbladder removed because it had already been removed years before she got this diagnosis. The reason she didn't start treatment again after that is because the doctors were like, she needs a break. And they were like, she was doing very well. And they wanted her to gain more weight, I think, or something to that effect. So for my viewers to know, pancreatic cancer, from what I understand, is obviously in the pancreas. And the pancreas is not an easy organ to get to when you're doing surgery. But unfortunately, it's, in this case with pancreatic cancer, the pancreas is like kind of in between organs that are like very important, that are vital for survival or for your health. So it's kind of like a complicated surgery. So since my mom had a gallbladder removed in a totally different situation like years before, she didn't have to worry about that intense part of it, but it was still a very like intense procedure because you have to kind of squeeze your way through to get to where the tumor is. It was one of those things that you think you know, but you don't know until you go through it. And unfortunately, it came back as terminal stage 4. So she had it for a little over a year. And I remember that because it was my first prom I had at school. And I was in my last picture, which I've consistently posted on my TikTok, of me giving her a kiss. That was our last kiss. Not forever, but it was our last kiss. So to make a long story short, my mom passed away from her disease. Well, she initially relapsed, like I said, and then she contracted pneumonia. She passed away on May 18th, 2025. Although she's gone, she's not forgotten. Like, thank you for everything, Mom. Being her in a better place. So, thank you so much for watching. And please keep her legacy alive.